Hi, so today I'm just introducing Djuli. Djuli is an online database system from Zimmer and Peacock, which is used for the storing, analysis and sharing of electrochemical data, particularly during the development and manufacture of IVDs, in vitro diagnostics, and electrochemical biosensors. We've done previous videos about how Djuli is an excellent tool because it allows you to store, analyze and share data with collaborators, both internal and external. But today I'm going to focus in particular on Djuli really as a tool during FDA and CE submissions, and Djuli as a tool during manufacturing for OQC. So first of all, at Zimmer Peacock, we know that many of these products have to go through FDA or CE submission. In order to do that, you have to be able to talk about the analytical performance. Analytical performance, two of the big questions are, what's the linear range and what's the sort of manufacturing repeatability like? In order to develop Djuli, then we've, obviously gone through in very great detail the CLSI standards, the Clinical and Laboratory Standards Institute, and we've essentially used Djuli in the batch release of our customers' products. And because we are ISO 13485 and we are using Djuli, then we've had to validate that Djuli is the software, let's say, but it's actually a cloud-based system, is valid for that. Now, as I say, the Clinical and Laboratory Standards Institute have released a whole series of standards around helping to determine analytical performance of a IVD, an in vitro diagnostic or a biosensor. And the ones that we're going to focus on today are EP06A, which is really for quantifying the linearity of a sensor. And we will show you how Djuli does that, or how it has done that. And also determining precision of a medical diagnostic. And when I talk about precision, I'm really thinking about manufacturing precision or repeatability. I'm very careful with these words: precision, repeatability, reproducibility, accuracy. They are sort of synonymous with one another. But I'm pretty sure that the CLSI have used the word precision very deliberately here. So I want to show you that Djuli, by having all your data in Djuli, you can actually pull data from several days and you'll be able to answer that question about precision, let's say, more accurately. It's not to say that we've ignored all the other standards from the CLSI as well that are relevant to Djuli, and these are also able to be, say, performed through the Djuli database. But as I say, I'm going to focus on EP06A today and EP05. First of all, I just want to I just want to touch upon EP05 very quickly. EP05 is very relevant when asked the question, what's the control of your manufacturing like? What's your repeatability like? Because EP05 tells you what that experimental plan should actually look like. And so if I focus on, the sort of the 90% of these kind of questions are answered through this matrix of experiments here called 20 times 2 times 2, which sort of says that take your product and test it on 20 days and do 2 runs on that, maybe morning, maybe afternoon, and for each concentration do 2 replicates. Now that means if you do the maths on that, 20 times 2 times 2 is 80. If you want to do 2 concentrations, that 80 could be 160, and if you want to do 3 concentrations, that could become 240. So it's not a small effort to answer the question, what's your sort of manufacturing repeatability? First of all, you have to set up the manufacturing, which can take months, and can take hundreds of thousands, maybe in some cases millions of dollars of investment. And then you can sort of essentially characterize it by putting in quite a lot of effort in testing. Now, the nice thing about Djuli is you can do this testing as they describe here, and then bring or combine all the data together to help you write those FDA and CE type submissions. So what I want to do now is I will just jump straight into Djuli itself. So this is Djuli. Djuli is a cloud database that allows you to upload your data, analyze your data, and share your data. So here I have a series of essentially, I'd call them my electronic lab notebooks, but a series of reports. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, first of all, dive into this first report. And I just want to say, if I click here, when I click it, you notice that this becomes available and it says share reports. So that's a very useful little feature, that, because it allows you to, if you're a scientist in a lab or the quality manager, you can send it to your regulatory manager, for example, quite readily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the report for a second. And I said what in that CLSI, the Clinical Laboratory Standards Institute, have some very deliberate or definite ways that they want you to measure linearity. So what's nice thing about Djuli is it allows you to bring raw data into Djuli. So this is raw electrochemical data. It's color coded by concentration. I know the data is already good because even by eye you can see a good separation between the different concentrations. And in the standards from the CLSI and 06A, they tell you how to essentially measure linearity. But the nice thing about Djuli is it'll take the raw data and it will definitely, and I know it's a little small here, but it will calculate limit of blank, limit of detection, limit of quantification. It will give you the gradient. It will give you the intercepts. It will also give you things like coefficient of variance. It will do a there we are, the standard deviation, the relative standard deviation, the means. It essentially can you can put the raw data in there, and then you can run the Djuli database, and it will do all the statistical analysis to help you be in line with the 06A from the CLSI. Now, I'm going to come backwards now and just say that's obviously analyzing a single set of data. But when you're asking the question, what's your manufacturing repeatability, you need to be looking at data from several, I want to say runs, but essentially I do mean several runs. So let me show what happens there. So if I take that report that I looked at earlier on, that's very interesting. If I take another report here and I take another report here, these are chronologically separated. They were performed at different times. In fact, when I look at the dates, I can see that one was done in August, one was done in October, and one was done in December. Now, this is the power of Djuli, because actually it was easy to find, those chronologically separated reports. And here's the power now, because it allows me to combine these reports and look at them relative to one another. So I'm going to sort of bring them all together, and it's combining them now. And what it's done now is it's given me I have essentially 3 lines because I had 3 reports, and it's given me the lines for each one of them. It's given me the limit of blank, limit of detection, limit of quantification. It's given me standard deviations. It's given me mean value. So it's allowed me to bring together 3 chronologically quite separate investigations, but bring them all together. So if you're trying to do, this sort of analytical performance for your FDA or CE marking, that's great. But it's also very useful if you're just trying to do batch release of products, because you can essentially see, all the experimental data, and then you'll be able to compare batch to batch to batch and make sure that, batches are consistent with one another. So I think that's a real power of Djuli. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at Zimmer Peacock. Okay, thanks very much.